Marco Pierre White is a British chef and reality TV star who is often dubbed the first celebrity chef in the world. After becoming the youngest chef to be awarded 3 Michelin stars, Chef Marco retired from behind the stove, instead becoming a restaurant owner and a TV star. Famous for his appearances on programs like MasterChef Australia and Hell's Kitchen, he has also trained many other celebrity chefs like Gordon Ramsay and Mario Batali. We met Chef Marco on his visit to India and asked him a few questions about his life. So, you very much are a master of the art of the restaurant, right? Now, where do you think the future of the restaurant lies? Because with delivery being so much easier, with apps, with people living faster lives, do you think there's still a future for the experience and the art of a restaurant?
There'll always be a place for a restaurant. People like going to restaurants at whatever level. But what I've noticed in my 40 plus years of being in the industry, people now want to buy a night out. Food is only one element of that evening. And the most important aspect of any restaurant is the environment you sit in. People want to sit in environments where they feel comfortable. Then they want service with a smile rather than formal service. And then food. I know that might sound bizarre coming from a chef, but people want a night out. Everyone works very hard, and when they want to take a night off and go to a restaurant, they want to have fun. So really, we're in the business of selling fun, in the business of selling a night out. Every so often we might go to a gastronomic restaurant. And do I like those restaurants? I like the old-fashioned ones. Because when you walk into those old-fashioned 3-star Michelins, it's like going to the theatre. You see the show. The modern ones, it's all a bit too precious. They tell you what you're having. They tell you how many courses, 12, 14, 20, 24, and they give you no choice. For me, that's like going to hell. To be told that I've got to have 18 courses, 26 courses, that's not my idea of fun. Because I'm being interrupted so many times. The waiter brings you your food, tells you what it is, tells you how to eat it, and a minute later he's asking you if you enjoyed it. I didn't go to have dinner with the waiter. I don't want to be told what I'm eating. And so I like casual with delicious food. I don't want to be dictated to. I don't want to be told what I'm eating. I mean, what in these high-end restaurants in Europe now, I don't know if this is happening in India, where you're told you're having X amount of courses. Right. When I get bored, I get very bored. But what chefs have successfully done in Europe is they've turned canopy parties into a dinner party. How can something so small have retention of heat? And they're always trying to impress you. What I've noticed in India, they don't try to impress you. No. They look after you. Yeah. And everything's generous. Their presentation is their generosity. And food is hot. And the one thing I know about Indian food, it has to be served hot. Because if it's served hot, you get that glow of the warmth of the dish. You smell the spice. And no one in this world understands spice or the usage of spice like the Indians. They're amazing. They really are.
You said you go to a 3-star Michelin restaurant. So you famously gave back your Michelin stars back in the day. I read that in 2018 you refused a Michelin inspection of one of your properties in Singapore?
No, the Michelin was coming to Singapore.
Yeah.
And they wrote me a letter saying they'd like to include me in their guide.
Yeah.
This is not the Michelin I knew.
Right.
When I was a boy, Michelin were anonymous.
Right.
Today they want to make friends with chefs. It's a business. It's a marketing tool.
Do you think the Michelin star as a marker of prestige for restaurants has outlived its usefulness?
There'll always be a place for Michelin. And let's not forget, Michelin, I've done more for gastronomy globally than any individual or any other institution. Young chefs dream of winning stars.
Of course.
Like I once dreamt of winning stars. And I won 1 star, I won 2 stars, I won 3 stars. Michelin in those days were a very different monster to the Michelin of today. The criteria was different. The chef had to be behind the stove. Today you can go to a 3-star Michelin and very rarely is a chef there.
You don't
I couldn't speak for England. He's in America, he's in Australia. he's in Singapore, wherever around the world. But I always spent my life behind the stove. Because I entered the world of Escoffier. I saw the tail end of Escoffier's world. And a chef's place was behind his stove, was in his kitchen. And that's now changed. A lot of chefs aren't in their kitchens. But I won my 3 stars. And yes, it was very important to me. But winning 3 stars is a very boring job. Once you've got your 3 stars, it's boring. Because you're not playing an attacking game anymore. You're not playing a creative game anymore.
Defending.
You're defending, you're protecting your reputation.
Yeah,
And by the time you get to 3 stars, the struggle is gone.
I see.
Because when I started out in my little hole in the wall, Harvey's, there was me and 2 teenagers. And we worked very hard with the dream. We won 1 star, we won 2 stars, and then we won 3 stars. But what happens is when you win 3 stars, you have this enormous infrastructure by then. You've got all these people around you, and you just, it's like conveyor belt cuisine. You just turn it out every night. ABC, ABC, ABC. And after 5 years, it was boring. And
Do you start to question the point of it all? Like, where's the art in this? Was the artist in you not satisfied?
I wasn't enjoying being in the kitchen anymore. But my job was in the kitchen, to be behind my stove, not to be anywhere else in the world. People are paying those very high prices to eat my food, not to eat my food cooked by somebody else. It's like you and I buy tickets to go and watch Elton John, yes?
Yeah.
With our friends.
Yeah.
We sit down, the curtain opens, his number 2 comes out and plays his piano and sings his songs. Do we want our money back?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the difference?
Yeah.
And so therefore, I felt that I had 3 options. Option number 1, stay in my kitchen, work 100 hours a week, yes? Retain my status and my position within the industry. Option number 2, live a lie. Pretend I cook when I don't cook. Question my integrity and everything I ever worked for. Charge high prices when I'm not there. Option number 3, pluck up the courage from within. Tell Michelin that on the 23rd of December 1999 I'm retiring. Lose my status and accept that tomorrow morning I'm unemployed. They were my 3 options.
You, of course, took the road less traveled, as they say.
One Sunday morning, I'm fishing on the riverbank, because I used to go fishing every Sunday morning for 2-3 hours. This little thought came into my head, that I was being judged by people who have less knowledge than me. So if I'm going to be brutally honest with myself, which I believe in, then I have to accept that those Michelin stars have little value, because the people who gave them to me have less knowledge.
So you and your various proteges, if I can call them that, revolutionized TV cooking at the turn of the century, right? So you have all these reality shows, you have all these cooking shows that became very popular. 2 decades on, do you think that format is nearing its end? And what do you think the future of cooking on video looks like?
There's only one thing in life which never dates. Romance. Romance. And am I a fan of reality? Not really. I've done reality.
Of course.
And like when I've done Elle's Kitchen in the past, I'm very protective over my team. My job is to bring the best out of them. And sometimes to bring the best out of people, you have to be very firm with people. You have to push people. Because when people come to work for me, they're not my friend.
Right.
They're there to do a job.
Right.
Emotions are for the bedroom, not the kitchen. They become my friends when they leave. My job is a very simple one. That by the time it comes to leaving me, you are a better chef than when you came. Your knowledge and your understanding of life is greater. And these are the skills that you have to require in life, obtain to find happiness. Because success is self-discovery. Because if you don't discover yourself, you will never find happiness. You'll never discover true love. And so the only thing that doesn't date in life is romance.
So do you
Do
think
I
you're
want to watch
obviously-
people being ridiculed?
Yeah.
No. Do I like negativity? No. I don't like it. But you know, reality TV has contributed to the world of gastronomy.
Of course.
More people want to cook now.
Of course.
Whether it's at home or professionally. So you have to look at the positive of TV, not the negative. It inspires young people. Young people sometimes need a hook to hang their coat on. They see a reality show and think, I want to be a chef.
Right.
How many families now buy better produce, spend more time cooking at home because they have a love affair with food? Because let's be brutally honest, what is life without delicious food?
Of course.
It's quite one-dimensional.
Of course.
Delicious food, love, romance, the impact of life.
So you came up through the ranks, so to say, in a kitchen that is run a very certain way. Like you said, you're not my friend, you work for me, my job is to get you to do your job. Do you think it's any different for young chefs who are starting out today, be that here, be that in Europe? Do you think the kitchen is still run the same way as it was in your heyday as a young chef, or do you think it's changed?
Well, I can speak for Europe. When I started in the industry, everybody was from a council estate. Everybody was working class. You came from a hard world, you arrived in the kitchen, and that was a hard world. And today, I'd say a majority of people are middle class in the kitchen, not working class. It's really interesting. And management has changed. People today want you to like them. Like you call managers by their Christian name. Good morning, Brian, for example. Good morning, Kevin.
Good
In the
morning,
old
Marco,
days,
as it were.
it was Mr. Shingler.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Abel. And so how management has changed. And also, I don't think the young fear being sacked anymore. I don't think the young fear failure.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I was
What would you say?
fueled by that fear of failure. I was fueled and driven by that fear of being sacked. The thought of having to go home to my father, and tell him, Dad, I've been sacked. Remember, today there's a lot more restaurants.
Of course.
You get sacked today, you knock on the restaurant next door, knock on the door, you've got a job. It wasn't like that when I was a boy. And also, to go back to your council estate and tell your father you've been sacked, then everyone in the street to know you've
course.
been sacked,
Yeah.
was humiliating. And so that fear was so enormous. And my insecurities because of the tragedies in my early life. I used to drive and I used to push. I never walked, I ran everywhere. I used to feel tired, that's fine. Push on, push on. Get knocked down, pick myself up. And so therefore, the world is very different. You know, and
Would you say that's a good thing or a bad thing, or is that just how things are and value judgments are not applicable here?
the modern world, some things are better, some things aren't.
It is what it is.
It is what it is, and you have to accept it. But you know, would I change anything of my past? No. I'm glad I got that hard time. I'm glad I was pushed. I'm glad I had those hard bosses. Do you want to be my friend? I was there to do a job. It's on the 20th of March at 6 p.m. in 1978. I was standing on the starter section of the Hotel St. George in Harrogate. And my chef de partie said to me, he said, Marco, the first thing you must learn about service is service is service. And I said, Michael, what does that mean? He said, when the chef screams at you, when he swears at you, when he throws something at you, when he tells you to run, just say, yes, chef. In those days, no one was late for work. No one turned up to work with unpolished shoes, without starched chef's whites. You turned up before your start time.
Discipline was a virtue. you
Well,
would say?
discipline is, without discipline, there's no consistency.
I see.
That's what I was taught at the Hotel St. George, consistency. I was taught how to run, I was taught how to use a knife, I was taught how to say, yes, chef. And the truth is, it was a 3-star hotel. The food wasn't very good. But had I not worked for that head chef, I would never have won 3 stars. Because he pushed me and pushed me and pushed me.
In 2019, you're quoted as saying that you don't think women perform as well as men in the kitchen. Do you stand by those comments?
No, if you look at what I said, if you look at what I said, is, and this is a very easy question to answer. Last year, I was asked that question.
I see.
And the truth is, women, they're more consistent in many ways. Number one, they're always on time. They're punctual. Number two, they always present themselves well. Number three, they don't take shortcuts. Number four, they're more consistent on a plate than a man. Is number five, they've got a better sense of smell. Fact. By having a better sense of smell, they have a better palate. They're not as fast as men. They're not as physically as strong as men on the whole. So like in my kitchen,
would you say you were misquoted, or the intent of behind your statement was misconstrued?
No. Is they take things out of context. So what they did was, they didn't place all the compliments I said about girls in the kitchen.
And they cherry-picked the...
And they took the two compliments I said out of the men. So the English press are masters of manipulation. And so what they said is, Pierre White said, men are physically stronger and they're faster, which is true. It's 100% true. Who set the world record for 100 meters? I think it was Usain Bolt, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? Is, the shot put. Can a man throw a shot put further than a woman? Yes, he can. Because our upper body strength is 60% stronger than a woman's.
And you think that's directly applicable to the kitchen or the fine dining kitchen as well?
No. I think men are physically stronger. Look, we are bigger, and our upper torso strength is greater. So like in my kitchen, under the grounds of health and safety, a lot of girls are 5'5", 5'4". Men, I'm 6'3". How can a woman lift a pan off a stove which may weigh 25 kilos of boiling water? We always lift it off the stove for the ladies, health and safety.
I see.
When I walk through that door, say you're a girl, I step to one side and hold the door open for you. Do I not? It's called etiquette. It's called good manners. Would you walk through the door and let the door close on a woman? I wouldn't. When I walk downstairs, I always walk before the lady in case she falls. Then I break her fall. And when I walk upstairs, I let the lady go first. It's etiquette. It's good manners.
But do you not think there's a place for a woman to be given a chance if she could lift that pan?
A woman it's health and safety. It's good manners.
I see.
If you think it's fair for a woman to lift a 25 kilo pot of pan and she's 5'3" tall, do you think that's safe? And at the end of the day, I think it's politeness.
I see.
And as I say, men tend to, like a lot of the women I meet in India, they're 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
How high is the stove? How high is a 25-litre pan that high? It's at the back of the stove. Girls would always ask us to move them. So I have more respect for women in the kitchen than I tend to have for men, because they don't take shortcuts. They're not lazy. They do their job and they deliver consistency. And women are emotionally stronger than men, in my opinion.